All right, you good to go?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the site plan meeting. We're going to go around the table with introductions to begin with.
Okay.
Starting with Rex.
Rex City, Blackfoot Sewer. So
Scott Murphy, Street and Sanitation Superintendent.
Chase Clark, Fire Marshal and Building Official.
Princeton Lee Water Superintendent.
Oh, I'm Terry,
Hi, Terry.
planning.
I'm Travis Allen, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Perfect.
This is Wade Gardner, Facilities Manager. We also have
I'm Graham Anderson, I'm the city administrator.
Perfect.
to start off with, you want to give us a comment on what your concept is and why you're here?
Yeah. So I'm here to talk about, there's two lots that are on the north side of town, right off of Mark Lane, which obviously is the border between county and city. Basically, currently there are no city utilities that are available to these lots. So we're trying to figure out some kind of solution to do something with them. We've owned them since May of last year. There's 400 Mark Lane, which is the only house that's on Mark Lane itself. We bought that last year with each lot on each side, came kind of as a package deal from an estate. The house is currently a rental, and then the other two lots are just sitting empty still, but they've been owned by the previous owner for over 40 years, I believe. So nothing's ever been built on them. One's got a couple of trees on it. The other one's just flat, dead grass, basically. So yeah, we're trying to figure out some kind of solution as far as not having city utilities available to try and get utilities so that we can build something on them and use them for their intended purpose. So that's what I'm here to try and talk to you guys a bit about, see what we would need to do, what we can do to come to a solution.
All right. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and transcribed.
Yep.
The notes from this meeting will be added to your site plan request application on OpenGov.
Okay.
We'll start with comments with Rex.
you're correct in saying that there's no sewer on Mark Lane in front of the property.
Yeah.
There is sewer on North Lane that is approximately 14 feet deep. And there is sewer on Gardner. I think it was like 12 feet. By our ordinance, the property owner is responsible for extending the sewer to in front of the property. The developer would need to show that they cannot connect to the sewer main due to elevation of pipe and surface, creating insufficient slope, or that there would be a hardship to install a pump.
Can we pull up a map and look, because I'm trying to get when you say it's on
Yes,
Northwood and on Gardner, how far away is that from the property?
So to Gardner from like the backside of the lots, because obviously they're north of Gardner, you'd have to go 115 feet through the lots that are to the south of that have houses on them. So currently, 400 Mark Lane, it was built in 64. This subdivision was platted, I can't remember, 67. So that house has been there before the subdivision was platted. So I don't know how that worked out. I wasn't around, but and then the houses that are on Gardner. So Mark Lane, the house, 400 Mark Lane, sorry. Its sewer line comes out of the southeast, as far as I'm concerned. I can't remember which one of you guys talked about that, but it comes out of the southeast corner of it and then goes down to the southeast corner property line and then goes between, I believe it's 425 and 435 Gardner, under their property, basically right on the line. So I don't know if that was done before these, because those were built in those houses, you know, it was platted in 67, but the houses were built in 92 and 96, 425 and 435 Gardner. So I don't know if it was done before houses were there, but now if you did something similar, because there is, I believe there's a recorded easement between 425 and then, well, not between 425 and 435, but the house to the west of 425. So you could put it through there, but obviously that'd be going under fencing, trees, you know, tearing up people's yards, which there's an easement, right? But that's what it would look like now.
That was my question. There's an easement there. Through.
That would take care of one of the two properties if it was approved. To get to the west edge of the west property is 575 feet from Northland.
Thank you.
You mean go from Northland over to the west?
575 feet. There should be enough slope.
See, and I thought we talked, it's been a few months now since we talked, but yeah, I thought you had mentioned that Northland, that what goes through Northland was too shallow for anything to be, pretty much hardly anything on Mark Lane to be in place to slope directly towards Northland. Is that not the case? You said it's 14 feet
It's
deep?
not. We've done a field check on it, and the sewer manhole that's on the east side, northeast corner of Northland
Uh-huh.
and Mark is just right close to 14 feet deep. And there is a stub out that comes out to the edge of the pavement. What we was looking at was coming from Gardner up Rose and around, and that was too, that distance was way, there, nothing to add on there. So.
Okay. So it might be sufficient depth on Northland to go 500, what do you say,
To
5?
be absolutely sure, you would have to have an engineer or a survey done of the elevation of the ground and the
Uh-huh.
elevation of the pipe.
Yeah, because there is a slight elevation. For example, Mark Lane, the front door actually faces west and the back door faces east, and it's built into a hill. So as you go from east to west, there's a I don't know how much. I mean, it's a walkout basement on that east side where the shadow is there. So there is a little bit of slope. I don't recall though that there's like a hill in Mark Lane as you're driving down it. I think it's just more of the slope of the lots that the house sits up higher. Because there's also a slope from the front of 400 Mark Lane or the north side of it towards Mark Lane. So there is some slope there. If anything, it would be, yeah. So, I mean, one idea that we had, if it was not feasible, which this might be a little bit more feasible, was to try and get approval to do a septic system. Now, I know that there's a lot of room that you need to do something like that. And I remember talking to, I think it would have been the health department. And basically said, yeah, we'd have to have a letter it'd have to be from Rex saying that no, like it is not, that you do not have access to city utilities. That would be an option. And then from there, it would have to depend on the size of the house or property that you built on it for it to have ample room in the lot to still have, it needs to be 10 feet away from a foundation if it's a slab, or 10 feet, and then the tank itself, and then another 6 feet. And then you'd have to have 2 600 square foot spots to have space for a drain field and then an additional drain field in case the first one fails. So that was our original kind of thought for this meeting, was to try and see if that would be a possibility. But if I guess maybe there's an option to do that also. We just feel, I mean, obviously these are already there. Nobody's ever done anything. The other thing too, this is my redneck laser pointer. Can I use it? It's just a laser. Oh, it might not show up on the TV. That's lame. So if you look at, I don't know if you can tell which one's 400 Mark, but 400 Mark, there's our lot to the left, our lot to the right. Now the next lot over is owned by Walter Bewley, Bud Bewley, good friend of mine. The next lot over to that, these are all on Mark Lane. That one's also owned by Bud. And then his house is the one to the south. So he has kind of an L-shaped lot there. And then the next one's owned by the house to the left of Bud, the next one. I mean, each lot is owned by the person behind it. Even to the one to the east of our east lot is owned by the people that live on that house there on Gardner. So obviously, I don't know if that was majorly done just because, hey, there's another lot behind you and they bought them, or they knew, obviously, in this case, now we know that there are no utilities on Mark Lane. And so no houses could be built on those anyway. So even though they were subdivided and plotted so that there could be houses on each 0.3 acre lot, like the utilities were never placed in Mark Lane to allow for any building to happen on Mark Lane itself, except for 400, which was on a septic and a well at some point on its own. And then I think from what I understand, it started getting sand in the well. I don't know when this happened, but anyway, so that's when they tied into the city utilities. But to do that, they went through between the two, 425, which is the house directly south of it, and 435, the one to the east of that. So if we ever needed to do, I'm not complaining, but if we ever needed to do replace the sewer line on 400 Mark, it would have to go, we'd have to tear up their entire yard between the two houses to do so. So plus that's, 115 feet plus the jot from the southeast corner to the house. So a septic system obviously would be the most ideal, just because it would, we wouldn't have to either tear up somebody's yard or go through the process of bringing it over. But obviously if there's ordinances and things that you have to follow, that's kind of how these things work. So, but we're just trying to figure out if there's anything that can be done with them. The other one is water. And I've had a conversation with you about the water as well. But the nice thing about water is that it can go uphill. So that wouldn't be as much of a hassle to figure out something to do with adding city water to them. But sorry, that was a lot.
It's okay. Scott, you got anything for street sanitation?
Not at this point. If you do build and at a later date, if the city ever develops the roadway and puts curb gutter and sidewalk, and you'd be responsible for the curb gutter and sidewalk in front of your property.
In front of the property, okay, yeah.
And sanitation, we have capacity to supply services to those properties if you do develop on. That's all I have.
Okay, for fire, we have good access on each side. So that's fine. Water supply, we don't have hydrants along that road, so there need to be installed a hydrant. So that's gonna be for fire. For building, your structure, so you have an existing structure. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you mean what's the house that's there currently?
Yeah, there's an
Yeah.
existing house there.
There's an existing house, but it's on its own lot, and that's kind of separate from what we're talking. It's just more of an example of basically how that one's set up. But on each lot, there's no structure. It's just buried.
Okay, so in each lot,
Yeah.
you propose to have two different structures?
No, these are just examples. I'm not a site planner. These are what I drew up the best that I could. So whatever, but these are just examples of this one. The one on the top is obviously just a single family house. It's actually 1,700 square feet, 3-car garage, similar to something that we would build on. It's just an example. It's not like a set floor plan or whatever. So
Okay. Yeah, so if there's nothing to review for building at this time, then I won't go into that.
okay.
Just to mention, if you stick with single family or duplexes, you don't have to sprinkle. If you go into the International Building Code, so you get the fourplexes.
Yep.
Have over under, even like a triplex with an over under.
Yep.
That requires sprinkler systems. You should
Okay.
be aware of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
So, okay, that's all I got.
Well, at the end of the day, the original developer just kind of did everybody a disservice by not completing the infrastructure. That's really what happened here is
Yeah.
they put the infrastructure in for what they needed and then let it sit.
Mhm.
So kind of now we're faced with an issue. So water is, like I say, a little easier, but the only way to get it is to come through other lots to it.
Mhm.
There's a reason that septic systems require a 1 acre lot is because you have to have 50 feet of clearance from
The
a
room. Yeah.
well, or you're going to drink poop water.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, you can get easements to come through. That's the easiest way. Other than that, you're installing 8-inch water main beyond through the property with the fire hydrant. And if the fire is going to require a hydrant, you're going to have to do it 8-inch main anyway.
And that would have to be out on Mark Lane. That would have to be on the
That's where
street.
we would respond from, so yes.
Yeah, okay. Because if I remember right from the first conversation or the conversation I had with you, right now, obviously water extends over Mark Lane through Northland to service everything that's north of it.
Yep.
And then on Rose Road, it ends at Mark Lane, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And it's just capped. It just stops there, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I say the developer should have
Looped it.
completed the loop and
Yeah.
put everything in. However, for whatever reason, they didn't.
Yeah,
And now we're left with a kind of a mess right now.
yeah.
And it may have been a less priority. As people are like, well, I want the lot behind me anyway. I want a big lot. And
For sure,
It's
which
like-
is understandable. I mean, they're 0.3 acres each. They're 115 by 115 each lot is. So if you're sitting on 0.6, obviously, yeah, having a bigger backyard is a lot nicer, right? So I understand that. But obviously in these specific circumstances, even Mr. Bewley's lot that he owns to the left of it is just basically an extension of his backyard that he has fenced in. But obviously if something was done, something could be done with that in the future if it ever wanted, because it is parceled off. Several of them, like
he could sell them. They're still,
he could
they're
sell
still
it
a
if he
lot.
wanted to. Yeah, no, it's true. So several of them are like combined, Mr. Bewley's and his lot behind him is all one lot. Obviously it used to be not that
Yeah,
way.
he can
So
he can still split it
it
off.
could
He
be
could go
pretty
back.
easily split. So it's just an example of if they were split off and people, wanted to sell them or whatever, they could, if the services were there so that more houses or something could be built on the one behind it. Now, I understand that if I was one of those people and I didn't have the necessity to sell one of them, I understand, I probably
I
wouldn't. Even though you could sell market value for a lot, similar to that size is anywhere probably 60 to 70,000, maybe more. And so, there's obviously that. I'm sure that's a little enticing maybe to some people, but in our case, obviously we bought the house with, and most people would look at that and that's exactly what it was Mr. Adler's, the one that lived there before, is he just didn't want neighbors.
Yeah.
He didn't want people on either side of him. So he's never done anything with it. But now we didn't look into the utilities when we bought the house with the lots. I probably should have, but I didn't. And so, now more, I understand that it's not necessarily, it's nice he doesn't have neighbors, but it's more that he can't do anything with those lots anyways. He could put a shop on them like Mr. Bewley. You can see the blue roof there. He's put I don't know what that is, a 20 by 30 shop or something like that on the back of his or whatever, but you wouldn't have utilities to any of them besides power, I guess, maybe.
So, are you looking how to get utilities to these or?
Yeah, we'd like,
or do
we have the funds, we could build on them tomorrow. So if we could come to a solution of trying to get, whether it's city sewer, city water, but a septic system or whatever it is, we would love to do something with them, and we're ready and able to do something with them as soon as we can figure out the utilities, figure out a solution.
So, yeah, water will be the easiest solution because you can either utilize the existing easement. I'm not sure what size line it is. You could potentially tee off and meter through the back. Well, not ideal. It's a possibility. But like I said, if you have to go to the expense of installing a hydrant and the runs anyway, you might as well just come off Mark Lane anyway.
Yeah.
And service each property and then eliminate the meter from behind running through those, vacate the easement for the water and just come off and clean that all up anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like I said, we can get water to them. It's just going to be, what do you need in the time and, the constraints for installing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're the least of my worries. Water is a lot easier to deal with. So.
So, yeah, that's it.
Anything. Okay.
Yeah, as far as planning and zoning, this kind of all falls to the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
And their answer. You can see on this, you can see the green lines over on Northland.
Uh-huh.
And the blue lines, that's where our water and sewer is.
Yep.
The white line is just for streets.
Yep.
Take that there.
Yep.
But yeah, that's where it's at. Planning and zoning, if you is applying for a building permit or something like that, that would fall in my territory. But as far as getting utilities to there, that's, Rex has stated the code of what that is. And that's all the real input that I have for planning and zoning. Graham, you have any comments?
I apologize, I just stepped on.
Oh, no, you're good. You're fine.
Yeah, when Graham stepped out, we can pull up the original approved subdivision, and I think I've discussed that with you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Where the easements were drawn into the subdivision.
Yeah.
And you can see between lots 17 and 16 right there.
Yep.
That's where that easement was allowed to come over to Gardner Drive. But this was approved, what year was it?
67.
67?
Yeah.
So this was recorded on the subdivision, accepted as a subdivision, but I don't have any record of, I don't know if you ever found in the county records that these easements, these utility easements were recorded with the county.
Not that I could ever find.
But this was the intended plan when it was accepted back in the 70s, that your utilities would run through the backyard in between 17 and 16 to get to Gardner Drive or go north to, it says county road on there, but it really no, it isn't Mark Lane now.
Yeah. 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 See, in the easement that's between lots 17 and 16, I mean, I guess you could come down because there's a recorded easement obviously between the north and the south lots, but you know, that doesn't help. I guess it helps lot 7. You know, we could go down to the corner and go through that easement there, but we would not be able, I mean, lot 9 it would have to go down to the property line between the north and south lots and then over and then through 17 and 16. Is that kind of how that would have to
Well, we'd have
potentially
to
work?
see if these easements are
Even recorded. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
before you start.
But hypothetically, that's how it would probably work. Yeah.
And so the house that you have on there is on lot 8.
It's along lot 8. Yep. So it's running between lots 15 and 14.
Weren't those easements part of the plat? Was it accepted?
Back in the 70s. But
Yeah, but was it accepted?
yeah, it was accepted by the city, but I don't know if the recorded, if the county recorded the easement or what language was in there for if it was the easement for utilities in general or maintenance and operation, water and sewer, or if it included power poles. I think that you can see little dots between lots 9 and 10
Uh-huh.
in the easement. I think that was a plan, like power poles, or maybe it might be just a point in between the lots.
It's probably just a control point.
That's all it depends, but I think if the plat says that those are easements, that's acceptable. That would be acceptable, and the city accepted them as easements.
Mhm.
And it was at the owner at the time when he put that in there. I can't see the whole plat or the covenants or whether they had any or
Yeah,
anything
I don't
like
think there are
that.
any recorded covenants. We'd have to, I don't know if you can zoom out on that, Terry.
And what's interesting too is that like the house that sits on lot 8 was there in 64 and this was accepted in 67. So I don't know if whoever lived in the house on lot 8 is the one who owned all of the land and then subdeveloped it. I have no idea.
Or they drew the lines around that
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. Who knows?
It just has acceptance templates.
It says, and that we hereby give, grant, and dedicate to the public for public use all streets and easements shown here on. So there are easements there, they have been granted to the public. And even though they don't define what that easement is, it would be accepted as general easement.
So yeah, it sounds like that he probably used the easements that were recorded with the subdivision and its acceptance. The But like we were saying, where the house is connected on your lot 8, and it runs down through 15 and 14.
Yeah,
There's not an easement.
There's not an easement there.
I think before them houses were developed, they
Yeah.
already ran it down.
that's kind of, I don't know, right? But that's kind of, because like I said, one was built in 92, one was built in 96. So that house and this subdivision technically sat platted, since 67. And, maybe it was 85 or something like that, that their well started having issues. And so they decided to tie into the,
Yeah.
the city.
Well, yeah, if you ever have issues with them lines.
Yeah.
You don't have recorded easement.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Dig
Yeah.
up and maintain them.
Yeah.
I'd say you
That's
gotta
true.
cut and abandon them.
Yeah.
Run them down the real easement.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll have a prescriptive easement, but
First, it would be, but it'll be in there already. Okay.
From already being in place. Yeah.
Yeah, So,
Otherwise, you do have to use the easements that are listed on the plat to get to your property. Back then, they just assumed that all of the power lines would be between the two properties, and that basically you would run your power line from the back end of your property. to the house.
that's where the power runs, is behind the houses
Yeah,
through
and
there.
that's exactly what they intended. I don't know what they intended for
Water and sewer.
water and sewer, because back then, we didn't have water and sewer there, is that my understanding, or we did?
Well, they put water down Gardner and they just didn't loop it all along the backside. So I don't know if they intended to run water through the easement or later down the county road or whatever.
I think that's all the comments we have for you today. Is there any questions that we can answer?
So I guess, yeah, so the idea would be to, if we did something with them, that it would have to run along the south line of both of them and then through the easement that's recorded between 16 and 17 and tie into Gardner somewhere. What would something like that look like with people who live in house 16 and house 17? I mean, I know it's recorded, so unfortunately there's not necessarily anything they can do, but what is that?
So we have dedicated right away right on Mark Lane. You can go down Mark Lane and connect on Northland or down the roads.
Instead of going through yards, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Is
that,
that right? Okay.
Yeah, well, for water, there's already just a valve cluster sitting there with a stub that you tie on, but
sitting at Mark Lane in Northland?
yeah, in the intersection.
Yeah.
And so, but your 600 feet is what you'd have to run to get through to the farthest.
And it
lot.
would probably have to be a bigger line because we'd have to put a hydrant on it.
Just 8 inches, the minimum.
Yeah.
The existing line is a 12,
And then for sure.
but 8 would be a minimum.
Every so often. Yeah.
And there might be a utility easement there, but will you have separation for water and sewer? Probably not.
Because is it a distance apart? It's not depth. It's
And for separation.
Yeah, horizontal separation is 10
like, yeah,
feet.
okay, 10 feet. Yeah, okay. I remember that. So you might be able to get one through there, but you might not be able to get both through there.
You've got an easement on both sides of the line, so that's, I don't know what that width is, because it's not on the plat.
Yeah.
It is. Terry, can you zoom in on the plat?
Yeah.
I think it's at,
A line that's
yeah,
just-
so it's 12. So you
12
got
feet.
6 on each side of the property line. But it is 12, so it's 12 here, 12 there. This one actually. right
That's
here is
16.
16.
Yeah,
That's 16 and 8.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit wider going this way.
So there's your,
Sneaking down through here, you only got 12.
yeah.
And who knows whose fence is built there and how that would all play out.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, obviously that's something that, it's an easement, but yeah, it's whether or not you want to fight that battle to tear up somebody. I know if it was me, obviously I'm not going to like it, but.
Yeah.
But
So,
well, it might be the negotiation point that you could use to maybe get an easement somewhere else that doesn't tear that bad.
tear up somewhere, something else, yeah. Yeah, every lot on that street is built on And number 8 is the only one that's on the north side that's built on everything else. Well, 11's built on, but it has its utilities through Northland because it faces east. So
All right. I think we've answered your questions, best of our ability.
yeah,
Like I said, we'll have notes on this meeting.
Okay.
Posted in your application for the site plan review.
okay,
We'll have the contact sheet for everyone that was here
okay.
as well. We got another applicant after this, if you don't have any more questions.
Who or how would I go about like looking into what it would look like / cost to bring both water and sewer over from Northland all the way obviously to the west end of lot 7? What would be the best way to go about that?
You're gonna have to find a
Contractor.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Get
could,
an estimate.
yeah, a contractor would give you an estimate, but you're gonna have engineering fees on top of that because that all has to be engineered and
Yeah.
reviewed by the Department of Environmental Quality.
Yeah, yeah,
Right away from that city.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
And maybe some discussion on one of the lines would be dedicated back to the city afterwards, or if you intend to dedicate it to the city, they have to be built to our specs.
To your specs, yeah, for sure.
That is available online.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Up next is Don Bricker.
Thanks, Travis.
Don's proposing a project at 195 Elm Street. We had the county correct that lot size.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they had it about what I had it gauged at 0.63 acres instead of 0.23 acres.
Did that modify dimensions on the back or the side or?
They
no?
just took the same dimensions with the property lines and updated to the
Gotcha.
segregation.
So 0.63. Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
0.68 is what I got.
Oh, but I thought you said it just got revised down,
It got revised to what it should be.
which is,
It was at 0.23
oh, okay.
and then it went up to 1.68.
Yeah, 0.68 is what I had originally. I
Uh,
misunderstood you there.
Go ahead and give us a concept for your next project, Bob.
Yeah, so what I propose, gentlemen, is at that current location of 195 Elm, there is a concrete CMU building that's been there for 40 some odd years, something like that, chiropractic clinic, I think previously. And I think it's just being used as residential by the owner, living there until he finds a townhouse or something to move to. And so the idea that I have is, and hopefully it's fairly straightforward but succinct in this, is the idea is to take the existing structure with it being a nice block structure and then reconfiguring the main level for, say, a minor business, office, something like that. And then above it, placing like two, what I put here, 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartments above it. So, and then so building up and then replacing a roof structure on that. And then on the back end of the property, there's sufficient space for 2 buildings that would be about 30 feet by 70 feet. Those would be proposed 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartments, or maybe some mix. I haven't determined what to fit back there, but those would be the maximum footprint, I would imagine. And so that's what we'd see at the back end, and those would be 2-story units to make those 4-plexes. So in total, there'd be a mixed use, a couple of, or more offices, depending how that sections out in that main floor. and then the 2-bedroom, 1-bath units above on that existing structure. And then, of course, the 30 by 70, about 4,000 square foot fourplexes, 2-story on the back end. So that's basically what I'm looking at doing. I have it under contract, but I'm not dead set on this property. It just has an opportunity there if it pencils out. And what I'm encountering is some significant upfront costs with fees and permits and other things like that. And so I'm really evaluating harshly what the return is on it. So anyway, so if you have ideas of issues with this property or challenges along with your assessment, I'd like to hear that as well. So
We already did introductions before you come in. You usually know all of us that are already here.
I think I know several. I can't remember your name.
Wait.
Okay, all right, very good. Preston and our fire gentleman,
Chase.
Chase. Okay, Chase, yes, we have worked together. And then remind me of yours,
Scott Murphy.
Scott Murphy, thank you. Okay, roads and sanitation.
We'll go ahead and start with Rick's
I
mom.
can say, Travis, can we start with me? I've got to go in about
Okay,
10 minutes.
We'll start with
Preston?
Chris.
So water, it's 4-inch main out in the street. So if you're looking at, I know it's on your sheet, it said 1.25 inches. It's got to be 1.5 inches. We don't have 1.25 inches. I don't have the service availability fees memorized for 1.5 inches.
Sure.
It's around $8,000 a connection.
And I noticed that if I decide to bump up to a 2-inch, then it was like 12,000 for that.
Yeah.
Connect fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all those, they're all going up in October. But I don't know I don't have that committed to memory.
Oh, they are going up in October?
So, yeah, they'll go up. I think they're going up 5% or something.
So was there a proposal that's out on the street yet for the new rates?
It's not out
for
yet.
the new rates, no.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I shouldn't say they are going. It's proposed that they're going up. We'll see how the public hearing and all that goes, but they are proposed to go up. So,
Well, I do appreciate that because that, like I said, it all figures into what
so
the
Yeah,
return is on the.
they're not huge increases, but they are increases. So
Well, I mean, are they going to be 40% like we saw for some of them from 2
no,
years ago?
no, they're below. They're like 4.9%.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Okay.
fairly modest, but they just got to keep up with inflation and everything else. So.
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah, and Chase will probably have to address it. Your probably biggest hurdle is going to be your fire protection because there's only one fire hydrant nearby on a 4-inch main. That would most likely be insufficient for protection for that amount of structure. But his determination, but that's just my initial read through. So if you had to bring in additional water, you've got to bring an 8-inch main clear from Meridian or from Bridge.
Okay.
And so it's probably easier to come down from Bridge, down Elm to the corner of your property. So that wouldn't have to extend past. You just have to bring it to get a fire hydrant in there and then tie the 4-inch main back in. So,
Gotcha. Kind of loop it back in.
but that's depending on his assessment for fire protection. So,
Well, it's what you're saying. What you're telling me is we've got a 4-inch main for water right there, and I
yeah,
saw
4-inch
them.
mains are obsolete and undersized. So,
But I don't need to increase any sizing. I can tie into the 4-inch for the property is what
for the services, 4-inch should be sufficient. However, it's going to be your fire protection is most likely going to be your limiting factor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll let Chase
Yeah,
address that.
Yeah,
So,
you'll need to upgrade because you're bringing in 2 fourplexes and 2 more above an office space. So the density is definitely going to increase. So you'll need to upgrade that to current standards.
Okay, that's, that may be well, we'll just see here. Yeah, so, okay.
We'll go a little bit backwards. Scott, do you have any comments?
But Chase, did we finish? I mean,
You want me to go now?
Yeah, sure.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so access, you're looking pretty good on access. Depending on your layout on your site, we'll need to kind of look at that and how you laid that out so we can see how we're gonna get a fire truck in and out of there.
Gotcha.
So that's gonna have to be reviewed. I don't have those plans in front of me today, so I can't comment on those.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, fire hydrant needs to be upgraded. For fire suppression inside the units, you're gonna have to sprinkle all 3 buildings.
Because of the,
Because it falls,
two-story.
yep, falls under the IBC. So under the IBC, you gotta sprinkle those types of units.
No,
You will
no
need to
passive
have-
opportunities there with dry walls and other things. It's mandatory.
The code tightened down on that quite a bit, and they closed pretty much every loophole that I could see. We can look at it closer once we get a set of plans going.
Sure.
But for your plans, because these are under the International Building Code, you'll need an architect to design those buildings. For your CMU building, you're gonna want to get an engineer to assess that and see what it's gonna take to be able to put a second story that's cantilevered out like that. And so you're looking at costs as far as architects and engineers go.
You bet.
And then, once we get more plans going, from architects and engineers, I can comment more on that once we get those, so.
Thanks, Chase.
Scott, you have any comments?
Yeah, for, the streets, you would need to replace the curb and gutter. It's in disrepair with this development. And you would have to install sidewalk there. For sanitation,
So let me just clarify. So are you referring to all along that or especially?
curb and gutter touching your property. Is in
Okay, the whole-
disrepair because of the new buildings that are going in. You need to bring that up to current code.
Okay.
And put sidewalk in. And sanitation in your future plans, if you build, we need a location on the property for a dumpster pad.
Sure.
And that's all I have.
Next.
For the existing structure, to add the 2 apartments, you need to inspect the condition of your existing service line to ensure that you can handle the additional loading of the 2 apartments.
Sure. That 4-inch line.
The 4-inch line by itself can handle it, but if you've got old clay or decayed concrete or even Orangeburg, you'd want to get it replaced before you.
Yeah, it looked like it's ABS to me, but and it runs underneath that warehouse building to the north, I think is what you informed me. And when I looked at the markings, I could tell that was the case. So, but yeah, I guess we can scope it and see what we got actually there.
If it needs replaced, I would recommend bringing it out. Just from underneath that shop and putting it out for Elm Street.
Yeah, what I was thinking of is just if I send the lines back to the 2 fourplexes in the back, I'm taking it down kind of that alleyway there, and the water being on the south side of the existing building, sewer on the north side, and then basically running an 8-inch from back at the back where the 2 structures would be, bringing it forward and just tying in that existing one into that line and then out to Elm Street to the sewer.
All 8-inch lines have to be engineered and submitted to DEQ for approval.
Okay.
And if you're putting an 8-inch line through the property, then my next statement is kind of irrelevant.
Because I was looking at a 6-inch Rex because of capacity and so forth, but the excavator says, or the individual that does this type of work said, you know, you may just consider it might be easier just to do an 8-inch. But with the other engineering and so forth and a 6-inch being able to carry the capacity, I may just revert back to what I originally thought. And I think I can't remember if I put it in here or not. But, so 2 options, it sounds like you're sharing with me. So go ahead. I'd like to hear your initial thought too.
I got to excuse myself.
I was just gonna say that
The next one.
because of the space constraints on your entrance, is all your sewer services being installed in your first phase, so you're not encumbering the existing renters when you're putting new sewer and water in for the added apartments.
Sure, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but that's a good point. I'm not sure if I'm going to have one rented up beforehand or what, but anyway.
And then, stormwater and snow removal must be retained on site. The sewer availability fee for the existing structure is paid, however, adding on the apartments, you would need to pay for the sewer availability fee for them and also for the fourplexes.
And I think you shared with me that was $7,000
Currently $7,000.
per
At this
EDU.
point, there's no plan to increase that.
Okay,
So 7,000.
got it. So it'd be roughly 10 units, so $70,000.
Correct.
And now, if I'm doing this in the phased approach, when I did the fourplex on Wilson, I had to come up front with everything for water, hookup fee, and also sewer.
With this one, if you laid the 8-inch in, you would need to pay, when you built the apartments above the existing structure,
Mhm.
you would need to pay as you built the fourplex.
Okay, so it would be based on the phases then that I've got laid out there.
Yes,
Okay.
phase of the building, not
When you say the phase of the
when you
structure,
go for your, of the structure, when you go for your building permit for adding the apartments above the existing building,
Mhm.
you would pay the fees for that one
Got
at
it,
that time.
got it.
When you get your building permit for the fourplex, you would pay your fees there.
Okay, okay, that does help. Okay. So, Rex, let's chat about the extensions. When I was talking to the fellow that did the work for me on Wilson, I said, if on Wilson, we went past, we had a 4-inch stub past the manhole, and then we went downstream of the manhole and tied in. The current situation of that structure has the 4-inch going right into the end of that stub that's at the manhole there where it ends on Elm. So, you're
Wilson, you didn't have elevation to extend the sewer main. That's why we allowed you to come down. But on Elm, there is elevation to extend the main and there's no manhole at the end. So there would have to be a manhole for that.
So how far do I have to extend it? I think you said roughly 95 feet or something like that.
Well, by our ordinance, it's supposed to be extended to the farthest edge of the property, but you have an irrigation canal that cuts from the corner of your property across the street to the other side of Elm.
So does that angle towards the back lot of Les Schwab? Is that how?
Angles towards the front corner of West Lawn.
Okay. Right there.
Elm
And Kirby?
Kirby.
Uh-huh. When you say front corner, are you saying, okay, so here's Kirby and here's Elm, it's coming across here on the south side of Kirby or north side?
It's on the south side of your property, going
Yep.
across to the northwest corner of that intersection.
Okay,
And then it goes down the east side of that, or northeast corner. Then it goes down the east side of the Les Schwab property
On
until it
Elm,
gets to the bridge, and then it turns on bridge. I think it tees on bridge.
It cuts right across under their parking lot.
under whose parking lot?
Les
Les
Schwab's.
Les Schwab's, oh, okay.
So,
Oh, then it's headed towards the corner of where Walgreens, where they've got that weir
Yep.
thing, got it. Weir box, okay.
so because of the position of that irrigation canal across that intersection, you won't be able to go to the furthest edge of your property. And I estimate, and you'll have to have your surveyor find out where that canal is actually laying and
Mhm.
maintain the appropriate distance from the canal with the manhole, and that's where you're gonna have to place it. It's approximately 95 feet.
So I didn't know if, I just made a text earlier on to Ian, that's kind of the ditch rider for that area. Do we usually have the irrigation district comment or be in these meetings or anything?
They would get a public notice for a conditional use permit.
Oh, okay, okay. Do we offhand know what kind of a pipe or what they've got running under there to take it? Okay,
It's probably Swiss cheese.
got it, okay.
Most of it is.
Okay, Scott. All right, so is there a reason that 40 years ago they didn't extend that sewer main to have them, that existing property connect to it rather than going underneath the warehouse and at an angle and into the end of the,
The 195 was probably already connected, and they built the warehouse on top.
yeah, that's kind of what I figured happened too. But the point I was getting to is, could I not just run the line down there and connect to the end of the stub rather than putting in 95 feet in a manhole?
Not by our current standards. I can't tell you what their standards were when that subdivision and all that stuff was put in. But our current standards, you have to extend to the furthest edge of your property at this, in this example, furthest edge possible.
Possible, yeah. No, I appreciate that. Well, what I'm running into, guys, is because it wasn't extended previously, it's gonna cost me about $75,000 to extend that 8-inch main and install a manhole there because of the depth, which I don't mind. It's kind of nice for that slope. But the depth and all the work and fill and so forth that has to go to put that in there is another one of those things that are causing me challenges with the property. And so it's good to know. So I was, anyway. All right, let's continue on. Rex and I have had some off the record discussions and so forth when I was first looking at this, so.
So I'll come back to me. Your zone's commercial 3. So for residential use in a commercial zone, you'd have to apply for a conditional use permit. We don't have what they call model zoning, where it allows for business or commercial use and then residential use stacked on top of that.
Okay,
So I would recommend about the residential use. I don't know if you could get a conditional use permit approved for that in the commercial zone, or try to use the commercial zone for your commercial stuff and then have a conditional use permit for the residential stuff.
how's that work with the existing structure? If I'm thinking I want some commercial on the bottom and the and residential on top, though. I mean, is it-
That's what I'm saying. We don't have models in like some cities do.
So, okay.
But a conditional use permit, and in that conditional use permit is written in our city code. We'd have to go by HDR 1 zoning regulations. You do have a lot big enough for 0.68 to meet the minimum lot size for that. 0.68 acres with a 30 unit density, you can have up to 20 units, but it looks like you're gonna have 10 units by the time you do 2 4plexes and then 2 apartments on top.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like what you're indicating is that it may be better just to build out the existing portion as either a duplex or a fourplex, something like that, versus trying to have any mixture there.
Well, you're kind of coming into a problem there too. Currently, our required off-street parking is 2.5 parking spaces per unit, and we round up, or 1 for every bedroom, whichever is greater.
Hmm.
So
Okay,
we got
changed a little bit. Okay.
changed a little bit. So with your 10 dwelling units, you got two bedrooms that you want to put above the other property, and then 2 fourplexes. So I've got 29 parking spaces with your current plan, or what your proposed plan is.
Yeah, 2.5 per unit.
Unit or 1 per bedroom, whichever is greater. So on your fourplexes, you showed that you were 3-bedroom
Right.
units.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be 24 there, and then,
Because it's 1 per bedroom.
1 per bedroom.
Okay.
And then on the other 2 units, where there's only 2 bedrooms, it'd be 2.5. And times 2 would be 5 evenly. So 24 for the fourplexes, 5 for the other. If you put more dwelling units in there and take out the commercial part, and put more residential, or put another fourplex in there.
Yeah.
Follow that rule.
Okay.
How many parking spaces that you're going to need. Standard parking space size is 9 by 20.
Yep.
So I don't know what the height of your building would be once you rebuilt it and put apartments above it. The maximum height would be 60 foot at the tallest horizontal wall, and then each accessory building would be a 40 foot. I don't think them are really tall buildings, but that also changes your side setbacks on the lot. Minimum is 5 foot or 6 inches for every foot in height. So if you.
Height being at the gable, is that what you said, Travis?
Or at the tallest horizontal wall. So say it's 24 feet at the tallest horizontal wall,
So at
it'd
the,
be a 12-foot setback on the side.
right, horizontal wall being basically the second frame top plate. Okay.
And then your accessory building can't be any taller than your primary structure. And then you'll have your primary structure setbacks with your current building that would be there. That look good, because it's 20 in front, and then you have a 20-foot setback in the rear. And depending on the height of your buildings, 6 inches for every foot in height.
On the sides.
In part of the code, it says you can't cover more than 75% of the lot with hard surfaces for stormwater retention.
75%.
So by the time you have your building footprint, a lane or 2 in there to access all the parking spaces and all the parking spaces required. I don't know how that would.
Yeah, I can see that can be a challenge. Yeah.
So you're cutting it kind of close. The tool that I use is just approximate.
Mm-hmm.
You just shy about 20 square feet, my guesstimate.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it. Okay. Okay, thanks, Travis. Appreciate your help.
Looks like lost mayor and city administrator to wherever the water guy, where they went for the water. Any questions for us? Remains here.
Yeah, I shared with you the challenge I'm having with penciling this out and then possibly reducing it down. Is there any participation that the city can make in regards to the sewer main extension? Considering the situation that we're in from prior years, 40 years ago or something like that.
Not that, we don't have, we usually require each developer to put in the required infrastructure for each development.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes, I don't see Princeton here, if we required like a main extension put in and it's in our maintenance schedule or something like that, then we would probably pay for the material that we put it in, but I'm overstepping
Sure.
each department saying.
Or
Rex?
the required is a 6-inch and we want an 8-inch and we pay the difference to install.
I remember when I done Champions Gate, and looped the system over onto the back, down Kanishi, when I tried all that. The question was asked and I paid for all of it. So there was no participation. So I don't know if the rules have changed since then. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're replacing something and we want to upgrade, there might be some negotiation in there, but usually all the developer required. Put in the required infrastructure to meet the needs of their project.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can't think of any other questions actually. So appreciate you all putting your time in and looking at it with me. And, all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Meeting notes from this meeting, on your application for the site plan meeting.
That's great, thank you.
And
You're done? We're done.
Sure.